Hey guys, so sorry it's been a little while since I've posted up any good videos on how-to motorcycle maintenance. Things have been pretty crazy down here the past, I don't know, month and a half or so. Paramedic school has started back up for me. That takes up the majority of my time, and any free evenings that I do have is taken up by my wife's roller derby away games. So we've been touring all over the state. Going to bouts and stuff, which is cool or whatnot, but unfortunately my poor bikes have been neglected. I really hear you guys about the valve adjust and the fork seal videos. I promise you, as soon as I do either one of those, I'm going to throw it up. I really don't see myself getting into just a demonstration video for the valve adjust. Like, if the engine doesn't need it, I'm sorry guys, I'm probably not going to tear apart like a loose engine like that one there, just to show you guys, valve adjust. I love you guys and everything, but not that much. But bikes come and go. That's a really common problem for bikes. I really am actually looking forward to trying out this new technique, which I read on a forum about how to restore fork seals without taking them off the bike. Apparently you use like developed 9mm film, like that old style film, and really that's like been the hardest part for me, is getting a hold of some of that stuff, because unfortunately you don't really see that very much anymore. So I'll put an ad up on Craigslist, like, give me a little bit of film, or whatever, and see if any old timers have any lying around. Because I mean, hey, it's a digital age. So that's gonna be a new thing for me. So I'm gonna try it out and see how it works, and I'll post a video up about it. But I'll probably just do that on like a parts bike, like on this bike here. I think this bike here may need some fork seals done. Yeah, it'll just be like an experiment. But as you can see, there's been a couple changes. First off, my wedding tent collapsed in a storm, and so I bought this one, which is like a for real tent. Yeah, look at that galvanized steel, or whatever it is. And I screwed them into the cement here, so that's not going anywhere. I'm pretty sure this will hold up to whatever. Also, you can see the bikes are stacking up, and that's because I just can't help myself but to buy a bike, and then I've been really slack-ass on restoring them. This is my bike here. This is my wife's bike. I'm sure y'all are familiar with these two. This GSXR 1100 and this CV 750. I don't think we'll ever leave this house, unfortunately. We've got major titling problems here and a lot of missing parts, and I'm not sure if I'm going to invest the money in buying all these parts that I need if the bike is not going to have a title. And this CV 750 has just been a huge pain in the ass. And I love it to death. It is so awesome, just this look about it and everything. I love it, When's the last time you saw one of those, So I can't get rid of I can't justify parting it out. I have to fix it, It's just, when easier projects come along, and the rent is due, I kind of figure like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do, And so this old boy has unfortunately been sitting. This GSXR 750 Street Fighter is almost ready. I've been chasing around this dead spot. I've been doing a lot of the techniques that I explained to you guys in the carb jetting video, and I've just been chasing around this dead spot. I'll get it really good in the low end, but it'll be dead it'll be bog in the high, and then it'll be good in the high end, but it'll bog in the low, and I've just been chasing it all over the place. So I'll get it eventually. This is my most recent acquisition. You can see this neat little chopper here. What can I tell you about it? Well, I don't really know too much about it. It's got some Kawasaki engine in here. I think it might be a 440, one of the 70s 440s, because it's got a kickstart, but I really have no idea what the displacement is. And you can see this carb that the guy put on it. What is it? A Cayenne carb. And he's got his own little manifold that he made to it, So trust me guys, jetting this one has been such a hassle, such a hassle. but I'm pretty close, you know, really close on it. I think it might be done in the next couple of days, so that's cool. We got our Springer front end here, which is really neat. No fork seals on this one needed. And this front wheel's just enormous. And I'm probably going to address some of this rust issues here. You can see we're a little bit rusty. But overall, it's pretty sweet. Oh yeah, I'm going to need like an 8-foot brake cable, or brake line. Go from down here all the way on up. Right now we don't have any front brakes. But other than that, pretty sharp. Over here we have this 76 Honda Matic, and that's a parts bike to my 78 Honda Matic, which I mean, you guys have seen that one. And this is a 82 CB750 Nighthawk. And this is a real brute of a machine. Very ugly, rat rod, rattle can, kind of a brute of a machine, right? But surprisingly, it was an extremely easy project. I'm still waiting on a new air filter to pop in there, which is really all it needs to get going, and then I'll probably just put a couple of coats on the tank and put it up for sale. Look at this 4x4, isn't that neat? That's cool. Anyway, this one's going to be the subject of today's video, and that's just a really simple trick that I use to reinstall carburetors on inline 4 engines. So, yeah, I'll show you guys what I do, and hopefully you'll find it to be a little bit easier for you too. Alright, so I'd say this trick is an absolute necessity on Ninjas and other Kawasaki's. I use it a lot on Hondas too. Not so much GS's. There's a good amount of room in there to wiggle around. But you've taken out your carbs, right? Cleaned them up. Did a great job, as I'm sure you all did. And now it's time to put them back in, and you realize that what you have here, you got your cables all hooked up and everything. But in order to squeeze these carbs in, you're gonna just have to like brush past all 8 of these boots. And if you're doing carbs, chances are that your bike is a little bit old. This is an 82, so yeah, it's pretty old. And your boots are really brittle. I mean, it's a rubber, you know, it gets cracked and brittle over time. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to buy new boots or even used boots off eBay, but they're really expensive. So if you just jam your carbs on in there, you're probably going to crack your boots and ruin them. A lot of bikes, it's impossible to install the airbox after the carbs. You have to put the airbox in first, and then squeeze the carbs in between them. But if you can't move your airbox back too much, see, that's as far back as this one goes. If you can't move this back too much, how are you going to get your carbs in without smashing up your boots? Well, if you notice, you've got these boots here, which are a little bit more malleable than these manifold boots. You've got these boots here on your airbox, and they can actually be pushed in to the airbox itself. See, there's like maybe half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch right here that you can just squeeze it in and push it in. And that'll give you like, 3/4 of an inch more. And then once you get this thing in, you pop it out. And it'll mate right up to your carbs here. You'll be good to go. So now I'm going to show you guys how I do that. See the difference here? This one's punched in like this. You obviously don't want to push it in all the way because then you got to go fishing for it. But this one's punched in and this one's still out. I've taken all my clamps out too so they don't get bent up. And now you can see that my all my boots are sort of pushed into the airbox like this. And now there's enough room for my carbs to just slide on in. Alright, and so now you've got your carbs hooked up to the front boots. They're all tightened down. Now you take a long, thin screwdriver and wrap some electrical tape around it so you don't hurt these rear boots here. And you just sort of tease them on out. You just get in there and just sort of poke them all out, tease them all out. Obviously, be real careful with them that you don't poke holes in them. But you just sort of pop them all out. Alright, and so that's all there is to it. You can see they're all popped out after a little bit of struggling. But now we are going to take apart our clamps, sort of feed them through, push this air box forward maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then clamp everything down and we'll be good to go. Alright, and so now we are all tightened up and good to go. And if I had an air filter for this big boy, I would start it up for you and ride it around, but alas I don't, and so if I try to, it'll probably run like junk, and there's no point in really doing that. One more thing, if you happen to have a bike like mine, which is a V4, or you have a Magna or some equivalent, and you've taken the carbs off, you probably know that it is a bitch to put them back on. You can't just see, you can't really see it in here, but you can't just push the carbs into here or straight down. You got to sort of wiggle them in and get every carb in at the same time. You got to get all your carbs in halfway and then 3/4 of the way, and then they just pop right in. And that's a pain because if you try and push it in here, these ones will pop out. Or if you try and push it in here, these ones will pop out. And so there's a really great trick that you can do, which I unfortunately can't really demonstrate for you guys, but I'll just tell you about it. You got your carbs all up in here, right? And what you do is you take some ratchet straps, you know, like the type of straps that you tie your new bikes to in your truck. Take some ratchet straps and slide it in between to go through here to the other side of the engine, and then around to some good place on the carbs where they're not going to hurt anything. And then you just sort of ratchet it down really, really gently so it will hold them into like the rear side, and then you can just use your own force to just pop them into the front side. And that's good because normally every time you pop them into the front side, the rear side will pop out, you know. So that's a trick that I have used a couple times. Unfortunately, I haven't really had an opportunity to use it recently, but yeah, awesome trick. Really, really good idea. So that's it. That's my tips and tricks on reinstalling carburetors. As always, if you guys have any requests besides valves and fork seals, let me know. I'll try and squeeze it in whenever I can. Hope you guys are having an awesome end of the riding season. Down here in Florida we can do whatever we want, but y'all take it easy.